want to give you the top 5 worst advice I hear in online marketing and business. What compelled this was an email I received, or what provoked this training is an email I received from someone that says, "Hey, so and so is saying this, and I know they've worked with you, and you've done coaching for them and helped them, and just need some clarification because some of the things I'm being told doesn't necessarily what I measure up, or they're having a hard time reconciling what I have said versus maybe what other people are saying on some given topics." And so this is not to be combative, to be confrontational, to be trying to, it's just, this is where I'm at. Okay. Take it or leave it. I've been doing this for 12 and a half, going on 13 years now, helped thousands of people. And one of the things I've always told people when they're trying to sell me on, you ought to do my program, you ought to do it this way, you ought to buy my package, because I get hit up all the time about, "Hey, Terry," because they want me to get involved with what they're doing because they'd like me to promote it. And I get that, but I don't take this angle all the time, so I shouldn't say that it's all the time. But a lot of times when I get these guys with a little bit of attitude, they say, they're sort of beating their chest, and and I get this smack of, "My thing's better than your thing, and you ought to do this, and you're missing that, blah blah." Sometimes I'll say, "Well, I'll tell you what, I will show you my 1099 on my Schedule C and also on my taxable income, and you show me yours and let the better one win, and you have to buy my top package or I'll buy your top package." And that usually gets them to be a little more humble. And that's not to try to pull a card on anyone or anything. It's just the proof's in the pudding. Okay, and all I'm saying is there's a ton of advice out there. There's a ton of people beating their chest saying this, that, and the other, and you're thinking, if you're just starting out in online marketing, or you're wanting to improve your online marketing, or you want to take the business that you have, especially in today's world, because you see that the businesses that are not only surviving but thriving are doing more and more online, then you've got a big word, fiduciary responsibility. You have to be worried about, not worried, but you have to be cognizant of who to listen to and take good advice, because you don't have time nor money to waste. And I get that. And so, in my opinion, and just if this rings true, if this resonates with you, but this is what I have found that is bad advice, and here's my retort to it. And this is not aimed toward one specific person or anything like this, because there is a lot of common advice given by a lot of folks out there that it at first may sound smart. It may sound, yeah, that makes sense. But if you scratch a little bit deeper, it's just like anybody can say, "I've got the biggest, baddest program, but let's see, the proof's in the pudding. What have you made with it?" That's what I'm getting at with the 1099 thing. It's just, let's call. It's like a poker game. Okay, let me see your hand. Because most of the time, anyone can go out there and put a nice, pretty website together and look smart, look great, talk great, all this other stuff. But and that's all important, by the way. I'm not disparaging that. But at the end of the day, what's going to help you, what's going to help me, what's going to help anyone that's trying to advance their cause to be able to become better at marketing, doing better business, is good advice and good information and something that's going to work for them. So here's the top 5 worst advice I've heard in 2020, and I still hear it. Number 1, list building is dead. Number 2, you should only sell your own products. Don't sell anyone else's. Number 3, magic funnels. All you need is this magic funnel, and if you had it this way, a magic sales funnel, a magic way of qualifying, quantifying, and getting quality leads, all your problems disappear. And you need by the way, there's some truth in all this. I'm gonna break it down, but pills, thrills, lotions, and potions, magic pill is not. I've never seen it help anyone. Number 4, one tool solves all. All you have to do is buy my magic widget here, my magic plug-in, my magic whatever, and it's going to make you umpteen millions of dollars by next week. And number 5, blank doesn't work. That doesn't work, or that doesn't work, or blank doesn't work. I hate that type of selling where I try to promote my product by tearing down another like product, or I try to promote this type of business by, hey, you don't need to be in real estate. Have you seen the market? You see what happened in 2007, 2008? People in the real estate lost their shirt. That's why you should be in insurance. I hate that kind of nonsense. Oh, you don't need to be using WordPress. You ought to be over using Blogger, or you ought to be using, Wix, there's pros and cons, there's good and bad, and it just insults my intelligence. I love what my sister said one time to someone. She said, you either need to, she said, it doesn't offend me that you lie to me so often. It offends me that you lie so poorly. It insults my intelligence. And so sometimes when these people, this doesn't work and that doesn't work, it's just a low-end way of trying to manipulate and persuade people. So let's get into it. Number one, list building is dead. Why is that just garbage advice? Well, number one, most of the time when you hear people saying that, they're trying to say, hey, you need to get on social media, because with social media, you can get your ads right in front of a targeted audience that doesn't matter if you have this 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000 email list, data or cell phone list, or all this. These people are specifically actively looking for what you are doing right now, and all you have to do, so it's better than just blasting out emails of all the thing you got to understand is social media is rented space. Okay, you cannot control what social media is going to do tomorrow. Maybe you sell a product, good, or service that the Wizards of Smart says is hateful or hurtful or harmful or something else. I've got friends that are in the hunting business that sell knives and other things, and they can't get an ad on social media. They're not even talking about their guns and stuff that they sell. They're just wanting to sell hunting knives and camouflage and things to fish with and all of it. But they're deemed as, well, this is against our community standards and you can't. That's bull. Okay. If they have their own list that they've accumulated over years, then they've got their audience and they can speak to, and no one, Mark Zuckerberg or anyone at Twitter or anyone anywhere else is going to be able to tell them, well, you can say this, but you can't say this. You can say this, but you can't. Social media is rented space. And anyone that tells you that list building is dead is simply trying to sell you their coaching or informational package on how to promote on social media. Nothing wrong with learning that. We have a module at TW3 in our membership that's on social media marketing. But the principles on it work, but some of the actual click button here, it changes so often. I had to tell a member the other day, he said, listen, the overarching marketing principles here work, but this, that, and the other, it's going to change, and I cannot change as fast as social media. I'm not going to even try. But the overarching principles of marketing, ad copy, and getting to a funnel works, But the main thing I use social media for, and I advocate you use social media for, is simply to put your hook out there in this big ocean and get that fish out of the ocean into your aquarium over here, so you can feed them what you want, when you want, and do it that way. If you're trying to say, hey, I don't need a blog, I don't need my own list anymore, I don't need all this, I'll just do all of my business over here on social media, you are already set to fail. Number two, list building is dead. The other problem with that is data list. You can go out and buy a data list from Sales Genie, all of these different data companies that'll sell you 1,000 filtered, scrubbed data. That is their names, their emails, cell phones sometimes, and all that. But that's cold list. It's just like social media. That's a cold list. They don't know you. They might be interested in what you offer, but they don't know you. When someone opts into your newsletter or your email or your text, even they don't know you at that point, if you have designed your rapport building process in your sales funnel, in your marketing funnel, in your newsletter funnel, whatever funnels you're setting up, if you designed it correctly, they're starting to get a little bit of who you are on the front end, and they can opt out and you don't have to bother them anymore. But then, if they've been on your email list or if they've been on your text list and they've already gotten 5, 6, 10 pieces, they know you. They know what you're about. The fact that they're still around says, hey, what you're offering today, I might not be interested in, but I'm interested in you. So keep talking to me. Let's keep having a conversation. So list building is nowhere. List building, I put this up front because I want to tell you something. You will rise and fall as a business owner, an entrepreneur, based on the quality and quantity of the list you're able to build. The more people you have that are high quality, and what are high quality people? People that like you, people that want what you offer. The more you can build that, the more you have that, you have, my friend, what I called marketing gold. Because I know right now with the list that I have, I can send out an email right now and say, hey, this is Terry. I'm offering this. I'm only offering it till Friday at this price if you'd like to get a copy of it. I might come up with an ebook, or I might come up with something, just a digital content. I might only sell it for a couple dollars. But if I'm sending it out to 280,000 people that's been on my email list since 2010 that know me, if I only have, which I would, only have about 12 to 15% open, and only have out of those about 5 to 10% click on it, and out of those only a few, if I only, when you quantify it down, if I only have a few hundred people buy a $2 item, well, that's still $600-800 I just made by the click of a button on an email. That's the power of list building, and that's why you want to have a list. And finally, sometimes when you hear these people say, well, list building is dead, they're trying to pitch you on some sort of SEO scheme. And when I say scheme, that's not a derogatory. I'm just saying some sort of strategy that they have. The problem with SEO is this: there's a pro and there's a con. The con to it, the bad side to it, is it takes a while and it's expensive if you're doing keyword clicks and stuff like that. If you're paying for clicks or you're paying for keywords, you're doing anything like that, it's expensive. If you're doing it and it's doing backlinking and things that we can teach you, I make money every day on old content that's on my blog right now, podcasts and blogs and newsletters that I did years ago. And it just dribbles in over time. But that is not a fast income strategy. That is a long-term passive income strategy. And the guys that are pitching list building is dead, what they're hoping you don't figure out is this: that their strategies that they're going to teach you, number one, is going to be expensive to get a lot of traffic, and number two, it's going to take a while if you don't pay for that traffic and you're just going to do it in the natural, organic way of doing it. It's going to take a while. So list building is very, very much alive today, very, very much a key cornerstone of your success. And you should never, I'm going to tell you, I do a lot of things in my business, but I tell you one thing that I never neglect, and I do it every single day. I'm thinking about it. I'll give you an idea just how this works. Right now, what you're watching is going to eventually end up on YouTube. It's going to eventually end up in a podcast somewhere. And in that content, I'm going to invite people to go to terrywilson3.com/contact or Terry Wilson, or go to text TW3 podcast to 38470. That's TW3 podcast to 38470, or click a link below here. But let's connect. Let me see how I can help you. What am I doing? I'm trying to get anybody that likes what I'm talking about, finds rapport, and this resonates with, to jump on my list. Because if you like this, stands the reason you might like some other things. Hit subscribe to that bell down there. But before, do all that. Subscribe to all my channels. Subscribe to my podcast. Do all that. But go over to terrywilson3.com and join my newsletter. Join my list, because I'm going to be able to give you more than what I'm able to even give out there. This activity right now, my podcast, this video, the radio station, everything is about building my list. List building is the cornerstone to your success. Number two, only sell your own products. Well, the problem with that is, number one, that's a huge impedance to your start. Because think about it. There's one thing to have a product, good, and service, and then just figure out how to get it out in the marketplace. How to get it in front of people that's more than just your friends, family, and foes. How to get it in front of people who need, want, desire, and can afford it. The part of marketing a product is in itself job enough. And then you're going to add this one more layer. And not only that, I've got to have my own product. Now think about that just for a second. TW3 is its own business. It's its own platform. But if I had to build every stinking thing about my business before I would start selling. Because, for instance, our blogging platform is made by WordPress. Now, I could, and I have the resources and I have the connections to go out and pay someone thousands of dollars to build my own blogging system and platform. And it would be my own thing. It wouldn't even have anything to do with WordPress. But that would be stupid, because it's way more time, energy, and effort that I'm fighting more battles than I need to fight. Why would I do that when there's already this product here that will serve the purposes? And yeah, I've had to modify it. I've had to hack it. I've had to do this. I had to reform, reshape to make it fit within my business model and what I'm wanting to do. But I'm not going to try to start from whole scratch and do everything. So number one, I would tell you, if you're starting a business, you assuredly want to start selling other people's products first before you start developing your own. Now, I've got some of my own products. I got my own books. I've got my own podcast. I've got some of my own digital things that I work on. I've got some plugins that work with WordPress that are mine exclusively. But boy, I am not going to just try to only only have my own products. That's just not good advice. Number two, it's an impedance to grow, because here's the thing: it puts me in different industries that I may or may not have any business in and should be in. Like, for instance, let's just use the WordPress example. I do not want to be a programmer. I don't want to be in the web development business. They have got their own. They've got thousands of engineers and resources of people, human resources, to help in areas that I do not want to scale a business. Why would I want to do that? So I would not be able to grow TW3 if I was only working and selling my own products. Number three, and finally, it's unnecessary to position. For instance, outside of this training right here, you never hear me talk about WordPress. You never hear me talk about some other things that I use. Why? Because it's really not about them. It's about how I use all of these suite of marketing solutions and things in a congruent way to help people take their money, business, and life to new levels with different schemes and strategies to market. So you don't even, and that's the other thing. There are so many things that are quote unquote white labeled or private label, whatever term you want to use, that you don't have to go out and develop your own product before you ever start reselling. You can rebrand and repurpose other products in a lot of areas that doesn't require that. So that's all I'm saying. Number three, I hate this one. This is probably the one that's most aggravating, is this whole magic funnel. Number one, if you're subscribing to, hey, if you'll buy this funnel here, it's going to make all of your dreams come true. You're going to make more money, you know what to do with. Well, number one, that's hogwash, and I'll tell you why, as we say in the South. It might not fit you. For instance, we have tons of different funnels at TW3 that we use for marketing and for recruiting people. But here's the thing. We redesign that funnel based around that person, because what we say, hey, are you more sales acclimated? Do you like to talk more on the phone rather than dealing with the digital stuff? So we design it this way. Hey, are you an introvert? Do you really rather not talk to anyone? Let's design the funnel this way. Hey, can you talk to people at this level, but let the other stuff be handled with the marketing system and the funnel in this ways, and different videos and email chains and text chains? Then let's design it this way. There's no such thing as a magic funnel. Here's what the magic funnel is. What fits you? If you're out there buying someone else's magic funnel, then you better have their skill set, their mindset, their temperament, their experience, and their abilities. If you don't have all that, then it might have been magic for them, but does it work for you? And so what we have approached is, here's different ways we have designed and built our funnel. Here's how you build a funnel. Now go design a funnel that fits you the best. You're better served learning how to design and build funnels rather than buying and being a consumer of different people's funnels that may or may not work for you. So does it fit? Here's the other thing. It doesn't even work. And I'll tell you why it doesn't work. You can't just go out and buy a magic funnel and it just works. And I'll tell you why. Because chances are, if they sold that funnel to you, they might have sold it to other people. And if they sold it to other people, chances are there's a ton of people out there that's already seen it. And so your effectiveness, your voice has just been diluted. Okay. Why, if everybody is using the same funnel in a particular industry or market, would a customer do business with you versus another customer over here, another rep? So knowing how to build funnels is imperative for you to be able to succeed. And that doesn't make it to where you have to be some technical guru or some technically proficient marketing, just genius. You don't. Some of the most effective funnels that I have seen from reps is basically an opt-in form and a redirect, and that's it. The rest of it's done on the phone. So, and I've got other reps that, it's a 14-click funnel where they go here, they see this video, and then if they like this, they opt in here and get a text, and then the text takes them to an email. And it just takes them around the world, but it works for them because they're in this market, they're doing it this way, and they're attracting this people. So magic funnels, number one, it doesn't fit you, it doesn't work. And finally, it doesn't last, because here's the other thing. If you slip up and find a funnel that you were able to buy that works for you right then what happens 90 days, 6 months from now when it's ineffective? You got to start all over. You're at ground zero. So that's the other thing, the reason why magic funnels didn't work. One tool solves all. Number 4, a big lie and just terrible advice. All you have to do is buy this robo dialer or this bulk texter or this bulk emailer or this blog or this podcasting software or this, newsletter software or this lead scraper or whatever the tool. Listen, we've got them all. But one tool does not solve all. Number one, because it limits your audience. For instance, 10 years ago when I got started real hot and heavy teaching other people how to do online marketing, one of the big tools was that voicemail drop, where it would just leave a voicemail on people's system. And man, you could market all kinds of stuff. Now, the audience that thing is effective for and with is just like that. It's just very narrow. Number one, because of laws that have changed. Number two, just everybody's used them and people are just like, yeah, it's stupid. They're just ineffective. And so there is a tiny sliver of a demographic and industry type that I see over thousands of different members using that particular system. And we can sort of watch who's being effective and who's not, that it's effective for. So that one tool doesn't fit all. For most people, it needs to be this other tool. The other thing is, just like the magic funnel, it's limited in its effectiveness in the fact that today it works, tomorrow it changes. Just like that dialer I was talking about, 10 years ago, it worked on tons of different demographics and industries, and now it's basically 1-2 types of demographics and just a very limited industry. And number 3, and finally, you're losing to start out with. And what I mean by that is, chances are, if that tool is being sold to so many people in so many ways, then that means that a lot of people are using them, which means the audience has just been worn out with it. And so you're getting a tool that's already ineffective by the time it goes to the market to be sold to the masses like that. So you just got to be careful that one tool does not solve all. It's a suite of tools used in a congruent way that I have found has been the most effective for the last 12 going on 13 years. And finally, the last worst advice I hear in online marketing and business development is this: blank doesn't work. Blank just doesn't work. The insurance business doesn't work. Nobody makes money selling insurance. That's why everybody gets into it, gets their license, pays thousands of dollars, and they quit within 6 months. Real estate doesn't work. Selling pills, thrills, lotions, and potions don't work. Online marketing doesn't work. TW3 doesn't work. Car business doesn't work. Nothing works. You can get advice like that from anybody. Dirty little secret. If you read my book, You Are Worth More, you'll see this in chapter 2 or 3, where I talk about my dream growing up was I wanted to be a lawyer. I did. I still do. I'm still toying around going back and getting my degree just so I can have my law license or law, to take the bar exam. Because I just love the whole principles of our Western law and the history behind it and language and all of those things. It's just so attractive, and it's part about the way I grew up. But I digress. I was talking to someone the other day, very successful lawyer, and they were discouraging me about getting into law because law is not what it used to be. It don't work. It just sort of just like, oh, okay. In other words, you can talk to I've talked to don't go into medical. That is just don't go into blank doesn't work. The problem with that advice in any area, don't go into ministry, pastoring. Have you seen how many people quit? The reason why that's terrible advice is, number one, it validates the worst part of all of us. It validates your worst. And what I mean by that is we all have this nagging thing in the back of us that says, you probably don't need to do that. That's not for you. You don't have the education. You don't have the experience. You don't have the pedigree. You're going to have all of these excuses come bubbling up in your soul effortlessly. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to conjure it up. You don't have to pray about it. You don't have to work yourself up. It is naturally the human soul has a natural default position that wants to validate an excuse. I mean, everybody comes from different excuses. Everybody's going to say, well, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too white, I'm too dark, I'm too what. Everybody's going to have their own, life experiences. But when you hear someone say, this doesn't work, it's an easy sell because it validates the worst thing in you, which is to believe nothing is possible in this, or you can't, or you shouldn't, or I'm going to tell you, that is terrible advice. Hear me. You could sell bags of sand for a living. If that's what you wanted to do, if that's what you felt most called to do in the world, if that's what you're passionate about, listen, someone told me the other day, years ago, Terry, you made a statement online that if you know how to market, you can sell anything. I said, and they challenged me and said, well, how would you market bags of sand? I said, easy. I'd wait till hurricane season. I'd find out when the next hurricane was going to come ashore. I would use my bulk texture dialer. I would have this script here, and I would go ahead and start now finding ways that I could get sand bagged and shipped cheaper than anybody else. And then boom, I'd be targeting those areas and saying, you can get this shipped, delivered to you, and be ready for blah, blah, blah. If you know how to market. And so that was my point. If someone said, well, the bagging sand sales industry doesn't work, no, if that's what you feel called to do, you can do it. If you have a why, Nietzsche says that a strong why will supersede any strong pushback of how. How comes later. If you know why you're here, why you're put on the earth, why you should do something, then anything you put your hands to will work. So don't believe blank doesn't work, because it will validate your worst. Number two, it will then vibrate within your audience. Because here's the thing, if you're not sold out on what you're doing, if you're not sold out on yourself, one of the things, and we do this in personal coaching and mindset a lot of times, people think that people like me that try to inspire and motivate people are doing it simply just to get them hyped up, and we get some sort of sense of validation of our own lives. But and part of that might be true, just to be honest with you. But here's the other thing that I know that maybe sometimes people don't at first know or have never considered. But when there's a timidity about you, when there's a sense of, well, I don't know if I'm good enough, I don't know if I'm smart enough, and I don't know if and you start taking this posture of, I don't know, and you let the life experiences you have sort of beat you down to the point where you won't look someone in the eye, and you won't say something forceful, and you won't say something with conviction because you just feel like you shouldn't, or what, for whatever reason. What you don't realize is, even though you're trying to be humble, even though you're trying to be respectful, even though you might have the greatest intent, let me tell you how the listener interprets that. Because it's that whole frontal cortex fight or flight mentality. They're seeing someone that's not sure of themselves and not sure of what they're saying. So they're fighting this internal dialogue on a subconscious level. Is this person being truthful? Can I trust this person? Does this person know what they're talking about? Is it a character issue or a competency issue? There's something there. I don't know if I can believe them, even though it might be true to them. They don't even know it's not true. And so they might not be able to articulate it. They might not even understand why. All they know is there's a gut thing going, yeah, I'm not going to do business with that person. I just don't. When you buy into blank doesn't work, it validates the worst part of humanity, that we all struggle with because we're just human. And number two, it vibrates to your audience. All of a sudden, and like, oh. So you got to be, this works. This, what I do, my life, what I'm about, it works. Because if you don't, it's going to vibrate through the way you speak to people, the way you communicate to people, the way you carry people. And then what it'll also do is then it just comforts your wavering. Look at the numbers sometimes. Do yourself a favor. Just Google it. What does the average opportunity seeker, how many opportunities do they look at within a year or get involved with in a year? I saw this years ago. I mean, it was back in 2015, I think, when I saw the stat. It was amazing. It was like 2 to 3 different opportunities people get involved with. They're jumping from MLM to MLM or network marketing to network marketing, or they go into a business opportunity like insurance or real estate or something, and they're just jumping. They get in long enough to learn it, get excited about it, and then they have a few weeks of pushback or something doesn't work. It doesn't click exactly when it's supposed to. They get frustrated and they're out the door. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're not a member at TW3, let me tell you something. Before you become a member at TW3, if you're doing something right now, blossom where you're planted. Grow and become successful, because the skill sets and the mindsets it takes to develop to push away all of the things that's holding you back right now are the skill sets, the mindsets, the temperaments, and the personality, and all the things, all the assets, the internal, personal, and professional assets you're going to need to take with you, because you might not be in the greatest opportunity now, and maybe what we offer is a better opportunity. I believe it probably is, but I want to be truthful with you. If you're unsuccessful where you're at and you have something that helps people, something that's honest, something that's good, something that you can put your name on and it won't embarrass you later because you're trying to sell some pill through lotion or potion that's just supposed to be some magical thing that, everybody knows it might be. As long as it's honest, it's got integrity in it, then find out why you're not being successful where you're at and be successful. Because that step from there to there, in other words, don't jump around from opportunity to opportunity to opportunity to opportunity. Because when you come over here, if you're coming to TW3 as an opportunity, it will just be one more opportunity you try. And if you have the same frustrations with us, then we're just going to be one more thing in the wake. And what's going to start happening, it's going to start validating this lie that is, number one, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, which is a lie. Or this is a scam, that's a scam, which is a lie. Because here's the thing. If one person with this temperament, and then this person over here with this temperament, and then this person, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 15 different temperaments, 10, 12, 5, 15, 13, whatever, different skill sets, different experiences. If people from multiple different backgrounds, experiences, education can find success, then it's reasonable that the opportunity is real. It's just the skill set required and the fortitude required is the limiting utility there that is pushing people back. And so you got to push through that. If you want to be successful. But don't buy into those 5 terrible marketing advices, because number one, it's sneaky. It's easy to tell someone that's a scam, it don't work, and talk them out of something, because it validates the worst in human beings. It's easy to tell people list building is dead. You don't even have to worry about all this stuff. Don't get complicated. Just take a simple ad and put it on social media and set the filters and boom. So easy. You don't have to stay up and learn this and work through this. And easy. Diet pills are way easier to sell than gym memberships. But I'm telling you, does it work? Does it last? It might work today, but then you're, just as well as I do, that there's no easy way to success. You know that. Intuitively, you know that. But don't allow people to dupe you and to pull at your, all of us, we have this thing of what's the path of least resistance? Man, I'm tired of does life have to be hard? No. Does the business have to be hard? No. Is it hard at times? Yes. Here's the rub. It doesn't have to be as hard as we make it. Good advice, good coaching, good strategies can definitely get you from A to B a lot quicker than you could otherwise outside of, I love books. I love audiobooks. I love learning because inside a book, what you're able to do is rather than start from ground zero, you're able to leverage a lifetime of someone else that has gone where you're wanting to go or you're in the same journey to go, and you don't have to spend the years and the heartache and the pain that they took, but you can, in just a quick amount of time, take 25 years and summarize it down within a week and then start executing. And maybe what took someone 25 years to develop a skill set around, it takes you just a few weeks, maybe a month or two, to develop the skill set, learn the skill set, master the skill set, and then you're able to then take their experiences, combine it with your experiences, bring other people. I love knowledge, and I love the the information age we live in now, because you're able to do that. You don't have to start from ground zero. But what holds you and I back so many times is we're so thirsty for, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I get better? How do I do this? And because we're in this state of hunger, which is a good state, but we have to be cautious. We can feed on some bad food. We can feed on, because someone says, hey, you're over there eating your vegetables. Wouldn't you like this candy bar? It tastes a lot, And yeah, the get rich quick schemes, fast money. It's easy to sell and pitch. It really is. It's way more difficult to stand up and tell people, hey, these are tools. Here's the training on how to use these tools. It's not going to come easy, but it can come easier than if you just started by yourself. And this is what you need. You do have to spend so much time on the treadmill or in the gym if you expect to be in health. This Peel Thrill Lotion or Potion, I know it's, you've got this star up here holding it and saying all I had to do was pop this in 2 glasses of water and look at me. That's really because, oh man, that's a lot easier than going to the gym and work out for 30 minutes to an hour a day. But you know as well as I do that the only way to have true success, the only way to have success that's sustainable, is to get in there and stop listening to the nonsense. There is no magic bullet. There's no thrills, pills, lotions, and potions. It is getting in here, developing a skill set, learning a strategy, and executing on that, and not allowing people to talk you out of what you are worth. Because as I said in my book, you are worth more.